All right. Hey, first things first, I updated your grades. Have you got a chance to take a look at that? Do me a favor, for those of you who have not submitted for your group assignments, please submit. You're just submitting the same content of whatever the individuals that submitted, right? So go ahead and submit that just so I can have something as you calculate your grade. Something has to be there. And if you're missing any assignments, anything of any kind, please get it in as soon as possible. So you can get yourself situated.
Is that including like the weekly discussions?
Yes.
So we should have everything in.
Perfect. If you're missing anything with discussions or any assignments of any kind, please contribute to that. Yeah, next week will be week 14. Past that, we got 2 weeks, so we'll wrap up pretty quickly, so time to wind it down. Hey, last class we talked about search engine optimization. We looked at how Google ranks, what's this going to play on some of its pages. There's an algorithm there. The algorithm changes, adapts to new trends, information, et cetera, et cetera. How do we go about optimizing that we have a high ranking so that we show up and get exposure and awareness for whatever it is we're offering to consumers. We said that things need to be relevant, updated, et cetera, et cetera. Right? And you came and you showed me some of your websites for the companies that you're working on. I figured we could do something similar today as a group, within the group, where you can focus on social media specifically. How you can develop a social media strategy for your company. So I want you to emphasize on whatever social media platforms you think will work for your particular companies. You could choose all of them if you like, but I want you to try to illustrate how you're going to approach this. We're going to look at the RACE framework for digital strategy, how we can reach audiences, how we can get them to act in some way, how we can convert them, meaning that they actually do something, whether it's purchase, call to action, maybe we want them to sing along and make a TikTok dance or something, right? Something that we can create action, et cetera, et cetera. All right, navigating the digital landscape, right? Things require time. In the digital space, are you going to pay to advertise? Is it going to be paid advertisement or organic, say, for social media? Are you going to pay Facebook? Are you going to pay Instagram? Right? That may be effective, right? You say, hey, I could delineate my target market, I could go ahead. Facebook will use its platform to source out all the 18 to 25-year-old females or males who make this particular income in this particular area, and it will shoot off advertisements to those individuals. But I will pay Facebook to do such. Or I will be so creative to create wonderful content, and I will gain followers and shares and likes and subscribers with this content. I will arrange them to maybe do something, to hashtag, to share with others, to develop a dance, create a viral sort of call to action. Right? I will use YouTube. Right? I will use YouTube as a medium or platform because it has the largest sort of audience. We're talking about video sharing, things of that nature, but what are the challenges there? Right? Will I also pay Google for that as well too, or will it be organic with my creative content? So some challenges, right? So we can explore concepts of owned media, paid media, and earned media, as well as the race framework. This will help us engage with the audience in the digital realm. So what is a digital strategy? Comprehensive plan that outlines how to achieve business goals using digital tools. Digital tools of all kinds. It could just be, doesn't have to be social media, it could be any kind of apps that we use. It can be email. Email is a digital platform. It could be other sorts of web content, video sharing platforms, et cetera, et cetera. Anything that encompasses digital use. It includes content marketing, right? Social media and search engine optimization. Trying to gain one's attention with your content, right? Whether it be an ad, whether it be some caption of some sort, a slogan, something viral, something to enhance brand visibility and engagement. And the digital marketing media types include paid marketing, right? Once again, we can pay. We can pay the platforms in order to use their services to help us kind of create a digital strategy, like take the burden off. Right? And then we can also use owned and earned, right? Owned and earned media, right? We can have our own media, we can get some sort of retribution for it, we can get money for it, and then we can also kind of convey the media to make others do things for it, like speak about it, word of mouth, right? Share it with others, create some sort of viral tagline, slogan, hashtag, something of the sort. We got the RACE framework. Right? RACE stands for reach, act, convert, and engage. Right? Reach, act, convert, and engage. This model provides a structured approach to digital marketing, guiding the businesses in creating effective campaigns that resonate with their target audience. So the reach aspect, right? How do we target the right customers at the right time, at the right place? Right? You can come up with any kind of wonderful content. You may think that it's awesome. But to say, hey, you know, we're using the wrong platform for this, or we're using the wrong digital space for this. And he's like, oh, this could be funny, but this was funny a month ago. Right? This could be engaging or viral, but that trend, that meme has kind of gone by. So that could be the wrong time, right? Capturing the right time, in essence, is critical. Or the right customers, right? You have something, you generalize it, you send it all out to everyone, but it's not for everyone. It's for a specific target group. Right? So you have to be specific. Who are you trying to aim with this content? And then the act part, taking action, try different things and study what works best. Right? There's no real science to creativity, right? Creativity is its own thing, something that resonates, symbols and meanings, unconscious desires that we have, right? Social things that we may not be aware of, but subconsciously we are attracted to in some way, right? So how do we get, how do we try different things, right? To see what works and measure it after the fact. If we find something good, we may kind of use it as an anchor and kind of build upon that. You know, if we find that it falls flat, we have to go back to the drawing board, but not go back to the drawing board without first understanding why something falls flat, right? Why aren't you reaching your customers? Why didn't you go viral? Why don't you have X amount of subscribers? Why don't you have X amount of followers and likes and shares for your organization? What is it that's going wrong, right? You need to understand both. Convert, right? We say obtaining a profit. How do we monetize this? Right? How do you monetize it? Is it converted into sales? I think for, YouTube, you're like, well, okay, hey, a person at 10 million followers, or subscribers, a lot of likes and shares, et cetera. But a lot of times people use additional service like Patreon because they find that it needs to be other ways to monetize it other than just relying on Google to send you in a check for the number of views, shares, likes, and subscribers that you have. That could be something else. Is it converted into sales? Did you grow awareness? Did you increase the volume of the products that you're offering? Something that you can measure, right? So it needs to obtain some sort of value, especially income. And last is engage. When we say repeat customers are the best customers, right? Not just the one-offs. Establish and track the relationship with customers. Okay, people now have subscribed, liked, and shared. Right? How do you go about finding an effective strategy to say, I want to keep these people subscribed, liking, and sharing? Right? I want to keep the people engaged. How do you track that engagement? How do you know who are your repeat customers, people who track you, who follow you around? Right? What is your strategy with that? How are you going to retain customers to make them into loyal and lifetime customers? All right, so Reach focuses on attracting new visitors to the brand. We use some strategies. We say search engine optimization. You want to show up on that first page of Google results, right? Social media marketing and content distribution, right? You have some content, you made a commercial, an ad, some little blurb of some kind, but how do you disperse it? Do you choose specific times that you do it? I'll do it every Wednesday. Why do you choose Wednesday? I'll do it every Friday when people are about to be off for the weekend so that they remember it. I may not want to do it during the week or something because people are too busy for my particular product or service. I'm going to do it in the daytime, in the night. I'll do it every day, right? You have to think about these things, right? How are you going to distribute the content? Is it in-app sort of purchases? Is it email, text message notifications, something of the sort? I'm going to say it's good to try to show up on multiple platforms or multiple digital spaces so that you repeat the same message everywhere, right? You see it on Instagram, you may want to see it on TikTok too. You may want it to show up in YouTube, right? Obviously, these platforms have tracking devices to kind of make these things pop up once you search it or view it or click on it. So you can say, hey, that could be a good thing too. Maybe I'll use additional services. So if someone happens to click on mine for Facebook, and then they go to YouTube, they happen to also pop up or be at the bottom of their page. They have to pay for an ad-free service. And during the act phase, the focus is on encouraging interactions. What are you going to do? Are you going to create a hashtag? Well, how are you going to stand out with a hashtag? Who cares about your hashtag? Right? How are you going to stand out with modern trends? What people are engaging or talking about? Right? What's important to the base? How are you going to get them to do something? Are you going to make it easy for them to check out? Like, hey, okay, I'll make them act because it's easy to check out, right? I'll make them act because they are something creative so that they can go to another website after they sort of click on this website. And then convert, right? Converting, you want to drive sales, right? Make visitors into customers. Visitors into customers. Creating a need where there probably isn't a need to begin with. How do you do that? That's tricky. Think of advertising. Like half the stuff we buy, we absolutely do not need. There's no purpose to buy all the stuff on Temu, Shein, TikTok Shop. They created a need, right? An unconscious desire that you have, and for some way, not logical thinking, it's usually irrational thinking, right? Something that'll make us feel good, maybe in the presence of others. When we think about these items, we might be thinking about other people, like, oh man, this is the response I would get, right? Maybe self-esteem, maybe our identity. Maybe we associate and link one thing to the next, right? Maybe colors can drive eating consumption, right? Certain colors. Maybe we use vintage as nostalgia. We use a particular font to make people think of times past, because we generally think that things in the past were better than things in the present. Usually people are either happy with their present life, they're always using memories as a form of happiness, right? How do you draw that emotional appeal? When you use something that make people sad, right? Angry, guilt, shame, right? They contribute. How come you didn't contribute? 100 people have donated so far. How come you aren't one of those? Right? That can create some sort of emotional appeal, even guilt. So it is tricky, but we want to implement effective sales funnels, optimizing checkout processing, make it simple, one click checkout, right? Very simple. That's a positive reinforcement, I would say, on like Facebook and other retail spaces, that one-click checkout. And leveraging retargeting strategies, right, to maximize. Retargeting, right? Going back to the drawing board even post-purchase, so that we can target new customers. And then ensure repeat purchases. How are you gonna do that? Okay, you buy one, next purchase is 20% off. That might induce someone to come back and make a repeat purchase, right? Loyalty points to some degree, right? So rewards system. Make it entice someone to want to do it again. Bless you. So capitalize on positive experiences. Encourage customer co-creation. Hey, maybe you're gonna create a little, but now you're gonna entice your customer to create for you. How can you make them create content for you? Right? Will you use your favorite YouTuber, put your product there as a sponsor for this episode, right? This little reel or this little short? Will you have them sort of create some content surrounding your product? Right? And that is it for the digital space. So what I would like you to do maybe for the next 5-10 minutes, come up with, like I said before, like a one PowerPoint slide. It can be two. I know sometimes it's difficult to put all of that on one. But you're gonna create specifically a social media strategy. Right? Using all of really this framework. Content creation, right? Your reach. Put up here everywhere. All right, how are you gonna approach your customers with your social media? How are you going to take action in some way, right? What are the creative things you're gonna do? How are you gonna monetize it and diversify it for income sources? How are you gonna build customer loyalty and repeat customers, right? So I'm pretty sure you guys have come up with something good. I'm pretty sure you're always on social media to a degree. You can look at what's been successful out there on the different platforms, kind of use them as a reference. But come up with a social media strategy. You can use multiple platforms as examples. Don't just have to use one. Make sense?
Yep.
Clear enough? Okay. All right, so get in your groups and start working on that. We'll present that in about 10 minutes. don't need more time? No? All right, let's start in the back.
So using the RACE framework, again, our company, what we focus on is the nonprofit organization, Youth and Family Center. So reach, embedding video, 50-second clip of YSC staff mentoring teens, or community outreach event, states over the 1,200 youth served annually across Henry County. Act audio icons so they can press on. So saying like parenting voiceover, help my family hear something like that. Or for carousel, scrolling when they scroll. Programs like counseling after school activities and family workshops. Convert animated infographics or arrow graphs showing growth and youth outcomes. So like graduation rates or their mental health, everything like that. And then a quote box, indicating their success or saying they, for example, here I found my purpose here. And then engage, live social media feeds like Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and then interactive maps and hotspots of YFC locations. So every time they go to events, it can be interactive or it can be on the web page saying what parts they're more active. And yeah.
Okay. So short videos, information,
Yeah.
motivation and inspirational photos, videos, and quotes.
Yeah.
And then engagement with live social feeds and interactive maps to show where the locations
Yeah.
are for the specific. Okay. For this organization, what do you think are the best social media like if you had to name one particular social media
I
platform,
think,
what would be the best?
I think Facebook, since the majority of, are targeted to kids, usually parents around, usually use around Facebook. I think between that, either 30 to 30 and up, use Facebook. So I believe that majority of parents are in Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably right. That demographic is
Yeah.
probably my age. Or
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Really good. All right. I'll go next.
So, again, we're a nonprofit, Lights Out Volleyball. For reach, definitely, Instagram is sort of our bread and butter. You can find like a lot of like a mix of a lot of demographics, like a lot of kids, so a lot of athletes that you'd be looking to reach out to, but also just a good mix of other like older athletes who go out and play like volleyball tournaments and stuff. Like we see that it's pretty common to see like people posting on Instagram covering like volleyball tournaments and all this other information. But if Instagram's where like the community is, then Facebook is also great as well. Just because like you could definitely find more money in Facebook, especially when it comes to like ads and stuff. But one of the things I saw for Reach was like it's important like when you post and where you post. So where is obviously Instagram, Facebook, but when we use a third-party content scheduling app called Later, and it like highlights when is the best times to be posting. Usually it would be like in the mornings at like 8 a.m. or it would be like nighttime, 10 p.m. or something like that. But another way we would outreach is through collab posting. So on Instagram, there's that feature where you can, like let's say we did some work with a pro volleyball player who has an established volleyball brand on Instagram. I'll just show an example. So then we had this one. This is Jaden Blanchfield. She it's literally just her talking in one of the programs that we've had for a lot of younger athletes, and we collab posted with her, and this performed very well on our Instagram. So yeah, but yeah. So collab posting is a big part of outreach.
So for ACT, we produce a lot of different content. Something that we really do a lot of. We do like clips from the personal training. We do like videos or posts from the community outreach. We even do some clips of just like the kids that are like involved in Lights Out, like when they're playing volleyball. We post some of that. Just to make sure we're kind of like covering all the bases on trying to reach out to most people. You know, we're not really doing too much. We're trying to stay like within our lane in volleyball, but we're doing everything we can within volleyball. And then also we repost a lot. So like we find posts on Instagram that similar with our branding that kind of like resonate with the ideas of Lights Out volleyball. We'll like repost it, like comment on it, make sure that we're also identified.
Yeah, we've been seeing, there's a kind of a trend where, like, your most successful post on, say, IG, you repost the same exact video, like, a couple months later, because it gets much attention, and it won't get as many views as it did the original time, but it kind of anchors to getting more people back engaging in your page at a later date.
And then for Convert, we have an Instagram shop connected to products, and then it like directs people to the website to donate. So if you go to this link, we're gonna go to this. It's Lights Out Volleyball working with media, and if you scroll like all the way down, you can donate at the bottom, and it just like makes a nice for like what they're doing. Like
And then engage, I mean, obviously it's easy with like the merch to sort of like you're representing something more than just like the volleyball brand. It's like obviously we're a nonprofit, we're helping kids in India, for example, but also other impact zones. So I feel like that builds a lot of loyalty, but also just like the landscape of being a sport and like volleyball tournaments, most of them are very big. You know, of course, when you wear a certain merch, like people notice that. You know, like for in the volleyball community, there's also slumps. Everyone knows slumps. There's a bunch of different designs for it. It's like types of shorts, but it's the same concept. Just being able to represent something. It builds a lot of loyalty, and not only that, but as previously in our other presentation covering like the LoveX Next Level program. a lot of the athletes that are involved there are very loyal towards the nonprofit because not only do the parents believe in like what we're doing, but also just like we'll support them and like you said earlier, we repost stuff of their accomplishments like, oh, this person became All-American in the 16s age division, you know, or we'll repost that stuff and we'll even like go out and shoot content of like specific kids at tournaments for free just so that they have more awareness to get recruited in college. So, yeah.
All right, excellent. Great job. Yeah, really promoting the achievement aspect of each kind of participant through the engagement. Next.
So we did ways to promote companies through apps. So we did TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook because I feel like those are probably like the main three that a lot of people use. So for TikTok, a way to reach people is sponsored ads while scrolling. Like you know how like when you're scrolling with that ad, it always comes to that. For us, it'll be different. Then you can participate in new trends going on the app, like that's going on in the app. So that could be a way to engage the people.
For Instagram, we send sponsored advertisements, like when you're going through the new posts, there's always an ad there, nothing of our ads. You can find our business under hashtags, so like hashtag my subs, like that, click on it, it's immediate. Use our own personal account to promote businesses, so like that, we can also interact with our followers. So if we have our own account, we could like have a poll or something, or a question that they'll respond to, and then anything happens there, or like we can have a coupon, like on Instagram, we'll our post, like, oh, use this for so long for free stuff, something like that.
And then Facebook is a good way to reach out to the older audience because most our target audience is that kind of 30 to the older, mid-aged. And then we could also have like a group. So on that group we could post like our new deals, limited time offers, that kind of thing to let our audience and our consumers know when we're changing things up. And then we could also use Reels too. So that could be another app.
This one I just thought about, but we also did Twitter. We did Twitter because a lot of athletes and professional coaches use Twitter and they could have came across our product at any time, either probably trying to invest or wanted to be sponsored by us, and we could have brought a lot of revenue with their fans plus the people who already got.
All right, excellent. Looks good. Great job. just offhand, any kind of compelling language, like just words or phrases that you've seen around that people use or.
Yeah, like, it says like organic or fresh or something like that usually goes with
For engagement from customer loyalty such as discounts and loyalty programs.
So yeah, you can go in and you have like on your phone, something like that, that will give you, that you can scan and get your points, like how Starbucks, you can go in with your stars, get the points or something like that. So,
Yeah, and even having people be like, hey, comment such and such, and we'll send you, 10% off discount.
discount code, yeah.
All right, excellent, good job. All right, class, that is it for today. We'll pick up our next chapter on Tuesday. Once again, hey, check your grades, get in anything that's missing, discussion posts, assignments,